IS pushes the meta through its refines, and there's no bigger time than the Braves to look at what exactly they're going to be doing in the next year. Let's rank every single refine every Brave has ever gotten at the time of release and see how your unit stacks up. The biggest thing is countering the meta, and you are only as good as the units you are going up against. A green tank is going to have a harder time than a blue one right now. The second is versatility, and you need to be able to update your skills, and you need to be able to be used in multiple different modes. That's really big. You don't want a unit that's, for instance, a melee cav that can only be used in one game mode right now. Whereas if you're an infantry, a lot of times you get more skills, it's easier to use you in more spaces. That's not necessarily the case, but that's what we're looking for as an example. The third is uniqueness, and it's important to know that you need the other two. If you don't have the other two, uniqueness makes you just weird. But anyway, we're going to go walk through each of these and talk about these as we go. Let's hit CYL 1 first, and I want to talk about Brave Ike. I loved my Brave Ike, and he just dominated the meta for about a year and a half. He was very unique, but he was also incredibly strong in bringing the Omni Tank meta into full swing. The forced desperation was just absolutely incredible and overcame a preference skill that in Bjork's Blessing that was terrible. That thing was absolutely awful. So to see this thing rank at tier 0 is really a testament to how strong and unique this was. You've got to remember there wasn't as much damage piercing back then, so this was a big deal. Just a note, if you wanted to put Gambit on this unit can still very much compete. The biggest thing with it is the speed. Ike does not have the speed he used to, and the speed meta is just on fire right now. Let's talk about Lucina. And when Lucina came on the board, she was the strongest support unit we had. It was basically Brave Lucina and Male Corrin. Those were your choices, and you usually had one in Astra and one in Light. This unit, though, gave the additional special cooldown charge +1, which was absolutely amazing for Omni tanks. I can't rank her tier 0 because, again, there were other units that did that job like Male Corrin, but just understand that this unit absolutely changed things at tier 1 and was amazing. Let's look next at Brave Roy, and Brave Roy is such an interesting example because his refine was more impactful because it was given to Ellawood. It's hard to rank this unit higher because of that. I've got him in tier 3 and I like him there, but the big thing was the refine needed speed very badly, and to get speed you needed merges. Merges were easier to get on Ellawood because 4-star pool. How many of us had a +10 Ellawood? I know I did. Anyway, this unit was still very good. It was just he was upstaged by his cheaper father. Moving on to Lynn. This refine was garbage. I mean, basically Omni +4 and only if you were a greater speed than your foe. That is terrible, and it wasn't helped by Sakei's Blessing that was just outclassed so quickly by so many things. Even Wind Sweep itself was probably better than Sakei's Blessing. So we have that. We have a tier 3 unit. Let's see where the rankings ended up, and you can see things starting to set out here. Ike was the clear winner of CYL 1, and rightfully so. I loved that unit. Let's get into CYL 2, and you all know where we're going with this, right? We have the king himself. There is no doubt that this unit is at tier 0 and even today is an amazing unit. The big thing was this unit got rid of all of the weaknesses that normal armors have. Getting rid of armor effectiveness was huge. Even today, if a unit has no armor effectiveness, then they still usually have something like dragon effectiveness. It is a mess, and it means this unit still is good today. That was something that was very unique at the time and was amazing. Not to mention that we continually get red nukes and have for quite some time. It means the color advantage really works in this unit's favor. That, along with Ostian counter, that, to be honest, is still decent now, although it is probably about to get power crept, but Does Hector care? He'll just slap on a new skill and still be amazing because this unit just never dies. Next we have Brave Celica, and I know we have Brave Celica fans in the house, but rank 2. Tier 2 is still very good for this unit, but I understand this was very good as a Gale Force unit, and the fact that we had Double Lion was pretty fantastic. Probably better now that we have the Desperation skill, but at the time, this unit put in work but was not a meta changer. Still very good, and especially with skills that you have today, can really do some damage. Let's move on to Brave Ephraim, who is kind of caught between two worlds. This was definitely made to be an arena unit. And at the time, arena armors were being phased out for other types. We were getting legendaries that were all types of movements, and we were starting to get dual skills, so you weren't stuck to that. And so it was kind of that crossover where he was meant for arena, but arena was going by the wayside. Null follow-up would hit soon after that and just absolutely decimate this unit. Tier 3 is there. I know there were some huge Ephraim fans that did get a time where he was very good. Last up in this whole section was Brave Veronica at tier 4, because this refine was terrible. I know this was kind of a reign and tried to do something that other units weren't doing as well at the time, but honestly, Null Counter Disrupt was here, and this unit was upclassed by 4-star pool units like Nana, who could do a lot of the same thing but better, because let's be honest, Gravity and Flash were very, very good, and this unit didn't have it. Anyway, that's what put this unit in tier 4. Let's look at the rankings here. Clearly, Hector is leading the pack with Ike close behind, but you can see Celica and Ephraim and poor Veronica at the very bottom. Let's get to CYL3 with some really interesting units, and I like the direction they went with these, even if all of them didn't hit. First, we have Brave Alm, and I struggled with this unit. I felt like there was a case for him to be tier 0, but he just didn't affect the meta enough. Still, the extra movement made him absolutely bonkers, and he is still usable to this day as an AoE force in Aether Raids and Summon Summoner duels, although not much. Send skill with the true damage is absolutely amazing, especially that it stacks onto your AoE, and I think this unit is an absolute blast, and people still enjoy using him to this day. Not quite the case with Brave Micaiah, who struggled a bit, and I wondered whether to put this unit lower or not, but armor and cav effectiveness are very, very good, and having those together is, yeah, it's fantastic. But this unit's kit it felt outclassed before it even got there. The giving bonuses to this unit based on the foe's penalties and the the auto follow-up were okay, but Ewan's Whisper was outclassed way before this unit got a refine, and is even more outclassed today with the sabotage skills. Still, you can see a kit right here where this unit does contribute, and I like Brash Assault 4 a lot. You can probably put something else on there as well and get use out of this, because Guidance 4 on Flyers is amazing. Let's move on to Brave Ellawood. I've got him in tier 2. Understand his benefit depends a lot on whether dragons are surging or reclining. And so dragons and beasts are right now a big part of this meta, so this is a very usable unit, but he still has trouble actually taking down an enemy with any other type of archetype. The thing is, you need piercing in today's meta. This unit is supposed to be a nuke, and he doesn't quite get there. Still, with these new skills, Flared Sparrow and Flow Desperation, this unit can be a lot of fun, along with Alarm Attack Speed, and I know plenty of folks who still use them and have a blast. Next up, though, is Camilla, and we have Camilla in tier 2 as well. The thing to remember about this unit, flying flyers were really good, but during this time, the Mystic Boost seal was had become really popular. And so it took a lot away from the hitting power that this unit had. Still, Razzle Dazzle is very good, and you can update this unit to this day, but there were fewer targets that this unit could take out because of that. Let's move on to the rankings here, and you can see we didn't have anyone here that quite cracked tier 0. We had Alm, who was close, and I really like. The other units were sitting lower, and the refines this year just weren't as good as the years past. Let's move on to CYL4 though. And of course we have Brave Dimitri because, I mean, this refine is absolutely bonkers. This is one of the main units that looked at stacking different types of damage reduction, which is absolutely fantastic. You've got speed base, which is great. You've got several kinds, as well as special and in other portions, but you've also got the true defense from Blue Lion Rule, which is fantastic and based on this unit's defense. This unit is a lot of fun, but just know that if you're using this unit right now, you need to speed stack and get rid of Blue Lion Rule altogether for Close Call 4. Still, this unit was amazing and is still usable to this day and absolutely shattered things at a tier 0. Looking next at Brave Edelgard, and this ranking doesn't fully capture all of the greatness that was Brave Edelgard because we are talking about when this unit first came out. The difference between this and the other units is this unit is tier 1. The thing is, she stayed that way and has some of the best maintain of any hero I've seen short of Brave Hector. I think this unit will continue to be good for a long time and really found her niche as a near save and is still good in that role. One of the things to this unit's benefit is Black Eagle Rule that continued to be good and didn't need to be replaced. So this was a unique thing for this unit that got used over and over, and we've also got the movement that is another thing that makes this unit very usable in modes like Summoner Duels. Having a savior that can move like an infantry and has warp within the unit skill set itself is absolutely huge. We've seen that with Guidance 4 and how powerful that is. It's even nicer when that is on an armor and you can actually just put Soaring Guidance on your flyer and have this unit warp themselves, which is kind of incredible. Next up we have Lysithea, and this is the only unit I cheated just a little bit. Upon release, this was a tier 2 unit, but shortly after, and I'm talking months away, we had Special Spiral 4, and it sunk so well with what this unit does, I have a hard time separating the two. It's when this unit really accelerated and the Refine looked fantastic. I went ahead and ranked her with Special Spiral 4, but understand that when she first came out, it was to a little less fanfare. The cavalry effectiveness is just that extra magic that helps this unit go, as well as the 1 damage that she can do that really facilitates things like your Wings of Mercy plays that people love so much. This is a solid unit at tier 1. Last we have Claude, and Claude was interesting. This unit actually had the possibility to be much higher. I think they wasted space on the Deep Wounds clause. I don't know why this unit needed to debuff Deep Wounds by 60%. I would have rather had that taken away and added something else. Still, even upon release, this unit was pretty incredible, and there are new flyer skills coming up all the time that make this unit even better. I'm showing him here with Flared Sparrow and Soaring Guidance, and he is pretty fantastic with that build. Looking at the rankings, things are filling out nicely here, and you can see where everyone sits. Obviously, I've got Brave Edelgard up at the very front of this batch. Well, in tier 1. In tier 0, we've definitely got Dimitri, and he absolutely ruled this number here. And last but certainly not least, we're going to look at CYL5 that just hit, and I want to do the way too early rankings for these units and how they sit. First up, and I am going to get absolutely smashed over the head for this, but we have Brave Marth. If you see the additional Ascendant HP status, because the builder has not been updated and I wanted to reflect the extra HP that they have. Now, back to where we're at tier 2, and the reason is this unit is a very good Omni tank in a sea of amazing Omni tanks. That means the meta ranking on this unit is going to be lower. That is not to say that this unit is not usable. I have seen folks do some amazing things. I'm looking at you, Stonky Mouse. Now, understand that I like this unit a lot, but because it hasn't really affected the meta, tier 2. Tier 2 is still a very usable unit though. I love the tempo, I love the additional stats. There are a lot of things going on with this unit that are very good. The damage reduction as well, it makes this unit able to take a hit before retaliating. The problem, of course, is we're going to have a lot of piercing effects and piercing weapons and piercing specials. And that makes this unit less valuable and not quite as good as someone like Fjorm or especially Legendary Lear, who's just bonkers. And because of that, because he doesn't rank the highest tier in Omni tanks, I have to keep him at tier 2 in the refined tier list as well. I'm sorry guys, that does not mean your unit is bad. Marth still got a very good refine. I am less plussed with Brave Erica, and the reason is this. We have just gotten a sea of really powerful cav units, and I don't believe this unit ranks up with those. I still like the armor and cavalry effectiveness. I like all the stats she gets. That's incredible. She needed more speed, and she got it. But understand that even with the additional 14 speed and a lull, this unit is still going to fade probably fairly quickly. Like I said, I still think you can use this unit. I still think she's amazing. Her best build, and I don't have it shown here because it's a little harder to get, but if you wanted to do an AoE build with this unit, she is phenomenal with that and can really smack some things around. So understand with that, she's fairly good, but I'd still rather have Carla. And again, if you're not top tier in your class, I can't rank you at those higher tiers in this tier list. Oh, speaking of a unit that I'm just going to get absolutely smacked for, Brave Gatekeeper. Let's go all the way back to our list and the 3 criteria that we're using. And the first is, do you counter the meta? Understand that guidance is everywhere. It is huge. Guidance and other kinds of warping are how we get around right now in both Summoner Duels and Aether Raids, even a lot in Arena to this point. And this unit stops that. In Aether Raids, this is unquestionably a tier 0 unit. Because of the meta, this unit is a very high ranking unit in Summoner Duels as well. I'm not saying that I would love to have Gatekeeper on my team, but I will say that I think he is necessary at this time to stop a lot of the things that are going on. For Aether Raids, I think he is perfect the way he is. For Summoner Duels, I think to truly be elite, he needed to have some sort of way to get bonfire spamming, for instance. And if you wanted to get bonfire on this unit, I think he suddenly hits very hard. You're seeing a 52 defense there, and yeah, Summoners, this unit can absolutely smash things. All that being said, it is an interesting thing if you wanted to also use Soren and make this a far savior. With that true defense and with the Daunts, I think this unit can do a lot of crazy things. Last but not least, we have Brave Mary Ann, and make no doubt about it, I really, really like this refine, and I think this unit is pretty fantastic. I do only have her at tier 1, and our sea of nukes is so overflowing with absolutely ridiculous things right now. And that is more of a reflection of this ranking as opposed to where this unit is. We just got Claude, who can usually get 2 lethalities off in a single combat. That is ridiculous. This unit has an additional special thing though. She has piercing, which is fantastic. She has tempo, which is also fantastic. And she has the ability to dance her partners, which is really special. But again, we talk about how that is only special in Aether Raids. It is less special in Summoner Duels. And the reason is because of your limited actions in that action economy, it is harder to make this work properly. Now, going back, if you just remember, we talked about Gatekeeper and the fact that he wasn't just a stellar Summoner Duels unit. The difference there between the two is, again, we have absolutely nothing like what we have in Gatekeeper. With Marianne, you can just use a dancer. Oftentimes you can use a dancer like Duo Peony and have more dances. So there is a lot to be said for that, and because of that, I'm not sure her Requiem dance is truly as unique as people say it is. I'm not saying this unit is bad. This unit is tier 1. I've got this unit very, very high. So understand that. I am just telling you what would have gotten this unit into tier 0 is some other form of another action. We're seeing too many units with multiple actions that are needed when you're talking about a secondary initiator, and I'm not sure she can be a primary. So, looking at the final tier list, and you can see I have Gatekeeper. He is at the tail end of that. I don't believe he is as meta impactful as the other 3 units up top there. Marianne is at the front end of tier 1. I will notice, and there's some of you who are going to mention the fact that if we look at this, newer refines, most of those got higher rankings, especially when we look at tier 1 and tier 2. The thing is, I truly believe that IS has gotten better at giving us refines and gotten more generous with them as well. It's no longer a thing where if you look at Lynn getting a speed conditional Omni +4, even at the time that was terrible. We are past that, and IS really feels like if they give us good refines, then we're going to spend money on more fodder for those units. So that is why I believe that we have more newer units in the tier 1 range. Tier 0, obviously there's an even spread there, and I think they've always given us one unit that is truly dominant. But this is where we're sitting right now. I hope you Gatekeeper fans are really happy because I think you got a fantastic refine. Brave Hector fans, I hope you continue to be happy because that unit just never dies. If you're looking for a video on how the meta has evolved over the past year, I just had a sit-down conversation about power creep with PM1 that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to the members. You guys are absolutely amazing. If you like the content and want to support, you can give us a super chat or become a member. And summoners, take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.